Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
And I'm Jess.
I went to the doctor's.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What happened?
I had to get a prescription refilled, but also I've just had my wrists have been fucked up for 2 years. I've told you about this, right?
Yep.
Haven't mentioned it on the podcast before?
I don't know. Maybe?
Well, if I haven't, basically I've just I messed them up somehow at work while lifting boxes. So I went and asked about that, and my doctor was getting me to do these weird tests. I had to press the backs of my hands together.
Yeah.
For a minute, and then she asked me if my fingers went numb, and she had me doing flexing and whatever, and she said it doesn't look like it's arthritis or anything like that, so she didn't really have any good answer for me.
Boo!
Yeah.
You know what? Just go to Superstore and go to pharmacy area. They have carpal tunnel hand things to wear.
Oh.
Gloves.
Yeah.
And it holds your...
Well, I have wrist braces.
Oh.
And I wear them when they get when my wrists get really bad.
Yeah.
But that comes and goes. But my doctor recommended I get a stress ball. Because she said the flexing of it could help strengthen the muscles around my wrist.
Oh.
Which could help. So I got a stress ball. I don't have it right now.
You're looking around. Do you have it?
I have a stress ball, and I've been just squeezing it randomly. Just alright, I hope this works.
Would a squishy work?
A squishy?
Yeah.
I don't think it has enough resistance. For those who don't know what a squishy is, it's a little toy that's squishy.
Who the fuck doesn't know what a squishy is? They're
What
huge.
do you mean?
Aren't they popular? Everyone knows what squishies are.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, my doctor said if the stress ball doesn't help at all, then we're gonna have to do an x-ray.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's fun. I also got a flu shot.
Nice, me too.
Yeah, shoot. I asked about vaccines. I was should I be worrying about any vaccines at this point? She was yeah, I mean, you should always be thinking about it. I was okay, stressful. And then she was just oh yeah, go out to the pharmacy and they'll give you a flu shot. And I was I could just go and be give me a flu shot and they'll give me one? And yeah, that's what they do
There's
now.
signs all over Walmart and Superstore that say flu shots.
Damn.
Come get them.
It's weird. I feel
think
there
they're
used to
free,
be
too.
such a... It is, yeah. I didn't have to
Canada,
pay
yep.
anything.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. But apparently the HPV vaccine, costs a buttload of money.
HPV?
Yeah.
Why do you need that? Do we all need that?
If you're sleeping with one person, then I don't think you have to worry
Okay.
about it, but...
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, she was for your age group, that's something you should think about. I was oh.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay. So that's my update.
Nice.
Do you have an update?
I saw Dr. Sleep yesterday.
Oh, how was that?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah?
I thought it was great.
Did it have the same kind of feel as The Shining? Or was it totally different?
Johnny says it's not the same as Stanley Kubrick.
We struggle with that name.
Yeah. Kubrick. He has a significant style that he does.
He definitely does.
But I still liked it.
Who was the director of this one?
I don't know.
Google! Dr. Sleep.
It had the same sets, and you go back to the house, not the house, the hotel.
Mike Flanagan. He also did Gerald's Game, which is on Netflix. Hush, which is on Netflix. Those were both great movies. He did Ouija.
Ouija?
Or Ouija, however you want to say it. that's like the main ones. There's other ones, but those are like the standout ones. Yeah, so he seems like he's a pretty good horror director. You enjoyed it? What did you like about it?
It was spooky, creepy. It gave me the chills at some points.
Okay.
I liked it.
Honestly, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, what the fuck is
right?
this?
I wasn't expecting that. But I've seen the novel.
You've seen the novel?
Like, hanging around Dr. Sleep. I just didn't know it was related to The Shining.
Yeah, I didn't for a while, but I did before I knew about the movie.
But
yeah, when I've obviously never read the book, but when I saw that like woman in the trailer who's like breathing gas or whatever onto these, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it felt like a completely different,
right? It does, but
it like fits in well.
Yeah, it like circles back in because they are also people with The Shining.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, spoilers.
Spoilers! The Shining.
Okay. Let's move on before we start spoiling that.
It's good!
Okay, cool. I'll try to figure out a way to watch it. Okay. Let's get into it.
Get Mom to watch it.
Mom's not gonna watch that with me.
Don't tell her what it's about.
But
like, Mom, come watch this movie with me. It's Tuesday, half day off. Come have some sister mommy time.
Sister mommy.
Sister daughter mommy time.
I wouldn't want to watch that with Mom. She wouldn't get it, you know?
Mom entire time. What's going on?
Dude, she touches. She talks so much during movies. Yeah. I actually like snapped at her during Rogue One. It's like, Mom, shut up. It's the middle of a fucking theater.
People around us are trying to watch.
We can't have a conversation. Fuck.
Mom.
Yeah. Anyway. What are we drinking today, Jess?
Peach ginger dandelion.
We've had this before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so great.
It's familiar. It's very summery, for sure.
I like it.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing.
I'm just adding my input to your summer.
I bought this this double cream Earl Grey.
Double cream?
Yeah.
Woo!
I forgot to bring it though.
Bitch. Promised me.
Remind me to bring it next time because it's really good.
Oh, shame.
Yeah. Let's get into it. So, chapter 39 is Eddard. We're on 39, right?
Wait.
No, we're not. We're
Bran.
on 37. Sorry,
Isn't there a Bran?
I'm going first. Yes.
And do you want, like, last week?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
You're just so excited. You're like, I gotta get out of here.
Well, I have to pick up our mom from the airport later, and I'm like, oh my god, it's already 7:30.
Oh, shit. Okay. Kat sends the Eerie and her sister Lysa's furious she brought a Lannister into her home.
Sorry, this is where we left our characters. Sorry, go ahead.
You could have waited till after I said that, and you could have edited it up.
Sorry.
Bitch. Kat sends the Eerie.
The what?
Eerie. I was saying Irie.
Okay.
Kat sends the Eerie and her sister Lysa is furious she brought a Lannister into her home.
Cool.
Okay. Jaime and his men surround Ned. Furious!
Why are you talking like that?
That the Starks had taken Tyrion captive. They cut down Ned's men and leave him to be found by the City Watch.
Your reading is so dramatic.
Because it is dramatic. Dany arrives to Vaes Dothrak, where... Is it Vaes?
I think it's Vaes.
Vaes Dothrak, where she stands up to her brother again, whipping him in the face with a belt.
Fuck you, Viserys.
Fuck you. Chapter Bran?
Alright, yeah. Chapter 37 is Bran.
Bran is taking his horse Dancer with his new saddle outside of Winterfell for the first time. He had been practicing riding her for over a fortnight, gaining confidence in himself. Robb, Summer, Grey Wind, Theon Greyjoy, 4 of their guardsmen, the Master of Horse, and Maester Luwin are coming along as well.
That is a lot.
For their little group.
Bran just wants to, like, go for a walk outside of Winterfell, and they're like, alright, here's a whole army that you can take with you.
Here's everyone. They ride through the deserted marketplace and almost empty village. Only 1 in 5 houses remain occupied. Bran recalls old Nan telling him about how farmers packed up and moved south for the winter. They come upon the local alehouse and see 2 serving wenches standing under the sign.
He calls them serving wenches.
It just comes out so weird.
Well, it's like
I
super
feel like
sexist.
it's saying like whores. I'm like, ugh. Kind of like chokes a little bit in my throat.
Saying it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
wenches.
because it's whack.
Theon calls out to them and the younger one blushes and hides. Theon starts to tell Robb about sexy times with her, but he's shushed because Bran is there.
Yeah.
Bran pretends he wasn't listening and feels Theon's eyes on him. He doesn't look, but he assumes Theon is smiling. He is always smiling, as if the world were a secret joke that only he was clever enough to understand. I'm gonna take a sip.
Not loud.
Oh.
What kind of podcast do you think this is?
Tea! It's the first word. Bran tells Robb he wants to go faster, and they pick up their pace to a gallop, leaving the others scrambling to catch up. They come to a stop at the edge of the wolf's wood. Bran sees something is troubling Robb and asks if he heard somewhere howling last night. Robb says Greywind was restless as well and wonders if they can sense things. He then reveals that he wants to tell Bran something, but isn't sure if he's old enough yet. Bran insists 8 isn't much younger than 15 and reminds Robb that he is the heir to Winterfell after him.
8 and 15 is a huge difference, first of all.
When it comes to maturity, sure. I think so.
When it comes to everything.
I guess the younger you are, the age difference seems a lot larger.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Like, they're both children.
Yeah, but the difference between the development of the brain is going to be
Very
massive.
True. Very true. Robb tells him he received a bird last night from King's Landing. From King's Landing. Bran immediately feels dread. He remembers old Nan's words. Dark wings, dark words, proving to be truth as of late. The bird from the Night's Watch brought word Uncle Benjen was still missing. The bird from the Eyrie brought word Mother did not yet mean to return and that she had taken the imp prisoner. Bran doesn't know how to feel about that because he likes the imp, but the name Lannister strikes fear in him. He feels like he should remember something, but when he does, he feels sick and dizzy.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit!
So it's like just beneath his consciousness.
Yeah. Like, he knows something is there, but like when he tries to think about it, it's like anxiety.
Mm-hmm. It like slips away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way of protecting him, I guess.
Protecting that scary, scary memory. Bran asks if Mother is coming home. Idiot, the letter's from King's Landing.
I literally just said no.
It's from King's Landing. What's she doing back there? Robb tells him that Jory, Cassell, Will, and Heward have been murdered by the Kingslayer. Bran feels as if he'd been punched. He loved Jory.
I loved Jory too.
We only knew him for a few chapters.
He won my heart though.
Aww.
What he did for Arya and Nymeria.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that is.
Won my heart. A reminder, Jory helped Arya get rid of Nymeria so Nymeria wouldn't be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Robb continues. Father was caught under a falling horse and his leg shattered. He still hasn't woken up after being given milk of the poppy. As the others finally caught up with them, Robb promises Bran that he will not forget this.
What the hell does that mean?
We'll find out. Theon wants Robb to call the banners. Bran asks what Maester Luwin thinks, and Theon says that he's as timid as an old woman. Bran feels dread, no longer excited about his ride. He asks if they can go back now. Robb says they need to find the wolves first, and they enter the wolfsward to search. Theon and the others fall further and further back until it's just him and Robb.
Theon's a dick.
He is. He's
like,
a douche.
You didn't bring up the part where he like starts talking as if Ned is gonna die.
Yeah.
He just starts being like, so if your father dies, like blah 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 blah, like you should call the banners and like blah blah blah. And Bran's sitting there like, if my Dollies?
We will not die!
It's like fucked up. Why would you ever say that?
Right? Didn't you know the world's one giant joke?
Oh my god.
They reach a stream and Bran begins to cry. Robb asks what's wrong and Bran reminds him of a time they went fishing here with Jory and Jon. Bran then asks if they will ever see Jon again, and Robb tells him that Uncle Benjen visits, so can Jon. Robb then helps Bran cross the stream. At the other side, they hear a wolf howl, and as Bran recognizes Summer and another wolf joins in the howling. Robb says they've made a kill and tells Bran to stay and wait for the others while he rides off to find them. He'll be faster going alone.
I guess so, but you're just gonna leave your little crippled brother there in the woods? That actually shocked me.
I guess he thought they were closer than...
I guess, yeah. He thought they were right behind.
Once he's gone, the woods seem to close in around Bran, and he is conscious of how uncomfortable he is. The strap around his chest is too tight, and his useless legs feel heavy. Relatable.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like that part in the chapter, like, of just sitting there waiting so that you can feel everything around you. Like, if you're in an uncomfortable position and you're just waiting, so that you can feel it.
Right, it's the whole, like, waiting thing. There's nothing else to distract you anymore. I see.
I like that. I was like, oh, that is a really relatable situation.
And what's sad is that Bran had been really enjoying the ride, and he's like, wow, like, this thing really works, like, I can actually ride like a normal person, and then now he's, like, feeling it, and he's like, this fucking sucks.
Especially with the mood dampened, like, all the bad news.
Exactly, it's all connected.
He hears leaves rustling and turns around to see a group of ragged strangers. Bran greets them nervously, suddenly conscious of how richly he is dressed. The biggest one asks if he's lost, and Bran says he's not. His brother had just ridden off and he's expecting his guard to show up any moment. Bran counts 4 in front of him and 2 behind.
He's smart to say that stuff, though.
A second man asks if that's a silver pin he's wearing. As the big man steps up to him, Bran sees his clothes are filthy and tattered and covered in patches, and then he notices the cloak might have once been black. He looks around and sees another man wearing black rags, and remembers his father's words. The deserter knows his life is forfeit if he is taken, so he will not flinch from any crime, no matter how vile or cruel.
Yikes. I had no idea these guys were from the Night's Watch.
It's a group of wildlings and Night's Watch. Yeah, I didn't know either. That's like an extra twist.
Yeah, wildlings and Night's Watch working together? Like,
yeah.
What is happening?
The big man holds out his hand. The pin, he says. Another one says they're taking the horse too and orders Bran off. Bran tries to explain he can't, but he's interrupted by the big man saying that he can if he knows what's good for him. The tall woman points out how he's strapped in and says he may be telling the truth. The tall man, Steve? I'm trying to say his name. Steve?
I'd say Stive, but I don't know.
The tall man, that'd be a weirdest spelling of Steve.
Steve. And also just Steve.
The tall man, Steve.
Like maybe Steven, but not Steve.
Right? Steve pulls out a knife, and the short woman, Hilla, asks if he's a cripple. Bran flares and says, I'm Brandon Stark of Winterfell, and you better let go of my horse, or I'll see you all dead!
Alright, Bran. We're all scared of you.
The man laughs and says, oh, a Stark would be fool enough to threaten where a smarter man would beg. Hilla says to cut off his cock and shove it in his mouth to silence him.
What?
And the tall woman...
He's a tiny 8-year-old!
Right? He's a wildling. And the tall woman, Osha says he's...
I like Osha.
Osha? Osha says he's worth nothing dead, and to imagine what Mance would give to have Benjen Stark's own blood as hostage.
Oh shit.
So they're working with Mance.
Damn. Mance Raider.
Steve curses and asks if she thinks the White Walkers would care if she had a hostage, and slashes at the strap around his thigh.
Bran's thigh.
Yep, Bran's thigh. Bran sees that he's sliced into his flesh, but he does not feel it.
Ew.
Robb calls out and says, "Put down your steel now, and I promise you, you shall have a quick and painless death." Bran looks up and sees Robb on his horse with an elk carcass slung across. Hilla mocks, "You mean to fight us, boy?" And Osha says, "Don't be a fool, you're 1 against 6. Robb whistles, and Summer and Greywind emerge from the trees.
Oh, what now, bitch?
What up? "Wolves," Hallie gasps. "Dire wolves," Bran corrects her.
It goes into the differences between wolves and dire wolves, which I thought was cool.
I didn't write that down.
It's like the dire wolves have longer legs and smaller bodies, and then their like snouts are more narrow.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And even though their dire wolves are still growing, they're the size of full-grown wolves right now.
Mm-hmm. But these ones are just like babies.
They are babies.
They're only like a few months old.
They're puppies. Robb shouts, "Winterfell!" and charges. A man charges forward and gets a face full of sword. Another man makes what?
A face full of sword? Holy!
Another man makes a grab for the reins, and Greywind takes him out. Robb and Osha fight, and Robb bests her. A few feet away, Hallie is defending herself from Summer with a knife until she stumbles, and Summer rips out her belly.
Damn.
A 6th man runs, but Greywind chases him down and tears through his hamstring and then his throat.
Ooh.
The last person, Stive, slashes Bran's chest strap and pulls him off his horse. He holds a dagger to Bran's throat and tells Robb to call off the wolves. Robb complies. Stive orders him to get off his horse and kill the wolves. Robb gets off the horse, but he doesn't move to kill the wolves. Bran screams, "No!" and Stive pulls his hair until Bran sobs. Bran hears a low thrum behind him, and a half-foot broadhead explodes from his chest.
From Bran's chest?
Stive's chest.
Okay.
Explodes from Stive's chest. The dagger drops from his throat and Stive collapses. Osha begs for mercy as their guardsmen emerge from the woods. The guardsmen look sick from the carnage that the wolves have done, and one of the men vomits at the sight of Summer eating Hallie.
Ew.
Theon is smiling, but Robb is pissed. He could have hit Bran. Robb turns to his guardsmen and demands what took so long.
Demands to know what took so long.
Demands to know what took so long. One of the guardsmen admits that they stopped to hunt a turkey.
This bitch.
Robb looks at the dead.
Why the fuck do they think they're there? To have fun?
Right?
You have one fucking job. You're a guardsman.
Robb looks at the dead and says to remove the heads of the Night's Watch men and send them to the wall and to leave the rest. Robb walks over to Osha and Maester Luwin suggests to question her. Robb orders to bind her and to take her back to Winterfell with them.
There's a bit of like a back and forth there when Theon tries to be like, what? She should just die.
Yeah.
You know? But then in the end, when Maester Luwin suggests that they take her, Robb seems like relieved.
Yeah, I don't think he was prepared to kill her.
Yeah, he didn't want to
Kill a woman.
kill her when she's like defenseless.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
He's his father's son.
Yeah. That's a for show.
That's a faux show. Tyrion.
Chapter 38.
Okay. Tyrion is being teased by Mord. In the episode, it sounds like Maud.
Because they all have accents.
Oh shit. Maybe
Maud.
I should say it in a... Maud.
Maud.
Tyrion is being teased by Mord, the dungeon guard. He's holding a plate of beans out of Tyrion's reach, saying, "You not want eat?"
Wait, hold up. They call Mord a turnkey.
I don't know what the fuck that is. I didn't Google it.
I don't...
He's a turnkey, not a prison guard, apparently. Or a dungeon guard.
No, but I think that literally
Turnkey?
just means he holds the keys and unlocks the doors. Turnkey.
Dungeon guard?
Yeah, but like they call him a turnkey.
Okay, he's a turnkey, aka dungeon guard.
I just think it's funny that the word is turnkey.
Man, I didn't even pick up on that. He then holds it over the edge of the cell, urging Tyrion to take it. Tyrion won't risk falling, so he says he's not hungry and sits in the corner. Mord drops the plate over the edge, infuriating Tyrion. Tyrion curses at him and Mord kicks him in the ribs before leaving.
That's like the first time Tyrion ever loses his cool.
Yeah. Tyrion is freezing. He only has a thin blanket to protect him from the gusts of wind blowing into the cell. His cell is tiny, and 5 feet from him, the floor ends and the sky begins. And worst of all, the floor is sloped.
That's so fucked.
Yeah. Man, only 5 feet? That's like from here to the wall right there. The closet.
I'm over 5 feet tall.
Lay down right now. That's like really close.
Yeah, like I wouldn't even be able to stretch out. My feet would be hanging off the edge.
Oh my god, so like regular men in that cell?
Yeah!
Definitely.
It's fucked up. I mean, Tyrion probably has more room, but...
Yeah. The Arryns.
No!
The Arryns?
Yes.
The Arryns. The Arryns kept the only dungeon in the realm, where the prisoners were welcome to escape at will. On the wall is written, "God save me. The blue is calling." Written in blood from the previous tenant. Ooh. So I can see, like, grasping how tiny these cells are. Easily drive men mad.
Yeah, and isn't that like an actual phenomenon? Like when you stand on the edge of a cliff, like you feel the urge to jump. Or
Hell
when
yeah.
you see someone else standing on the edge of a cliff, you feel the urge to push them.
Yeah.
It's like Vsauce on YouTube did a video on it once. But I don't remember the science behind the phenomenon.
I think I remember it's actually your brain telling you that this is not what you should do by like in like putting this idea and this fear into you.
Right. It does kind of sound like it's like your brain kind of gets so confused because it goes into like panic mode and it's like don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Do it.
And then it like it starts to get confused until it's like do it.
Yeah, I notice at work when I have like a pair of scissors in my hands, I feel like there's overwhelming urge to like right in my eye.
Oh!
Like, it's like I know that's my brain saying, okay, keep it away from your face. Don't put it in your eye. That'll be bad. But like the urge to do it, like every time I pick it up, it's like,
oh
like,
my god,
insane.
That's fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like I have to like make the conscious decision, like, okay, keep it away from your face. Keep it away from your face. Because this urge is just nuts.
Ew.
Don't like
Can
it.
you imagine if you didn't have the control?
Ooh.
And you were just constantly fucking yourself up?
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Damn.
I don't want to think with that. I like my eyes. I like my face.
Aw. That makes one of us. Just kidding.
Where am I? Okay. Tyrion's angry that he could not keep his big mouth shut. It was that Lord Boy who had laughed at his height when he was brought before him.
Tyrion. Come on. I guess he's gotten used to, like, getting that from
Wait.
Wait.
He was already in a bad mood. Because during the climb his legs gave out and he had to be carried by Bran. Which was humiliating, so he was already pissed.
Right. Okay, I see.
Lady Lysa told her son that Tyrion the Imp murdered his father, to which he had sarcastically retorted, "Where did he manage to find all this time to be doing all this slaying and murdering?" Lysa coldly told Tyrion to speak to her son more politely or he would regret it, and the boy threatened to make him fly. The guards had seized Tyrion, lifting him up before Catelyn Stark intervened, reminding Lysa that Tyrion is her prisoner. Lysa ordered Tyrion to be taken to one of the sky cells in the dungeon, and the guards had carried Tyrion between them while he kicked feebly between them, his face red with shame.
That's quite the picture.
That's so humiliating. Poor guy.
Yeah.
At first, he had told himself that he would only be in there for a few days, but now he thinks his captors had meant to let him rot. He wonders if it were Jaime or Cersei who had sent the dagger after Bran, and if one of them had murdered Lord Erin as well.
Yeah. So, we know this already, but it is an interesting point, I think, to recognize that Tyrion doesn't put it past either of his siblings to actually
I've done this.
kill a child.
Yeah. That's saying something.
Yep.
He then wonders if there is perhaps a third party using the Lannisters as pawns to start a feud with the Starks. Oh, hey now. That's a smart idea, Tyrion.
Who could that be?
Oh. Tyrion gets up and hammers on the door, shouting for Mord. Mord bursts in angry. Tyrion tries to tell him that he can make him rich, but Mord swings a leather strap at Tyrion, getting him in the arm, making him stagger backwards. Tyrion tries to bring up gold and Casterly rock, but Mord swings again and gets him in the ribs, making him fall to his knees. Tyrion says, "Lannisters!" and Mord gets him in the face so hard, Tyrion blacks out for a sec. When he comes to, he is right at the edge of the blow.
Ooh.
Tyrion crawls away from the edge and says that he could make Mord a lord. Lord Mord!
Lord Mord!
Mord questions about the gold, and Tyrion says his purse was confiscated, but if Mord brought a message to Lady Lysa, he would give him the entire contents. Mord is listening. Tyrion continues, "Tell her I wish to confess my crimes." Mord thinks for a bit and then leaves. That night, Tyrion is woken by Sir Vardis Egan.
Our homeboy.
And is told that his lady wishes to see him.
Vardis' lady wishes to see him.
Okay. Tyrion is brought to the high hall in front of Lady Lysa. The little lord is not present. Perhaps it's his bedtime.
Thank God, that little fuck.
That little shit.
He's so fucking annoying.
The hall is full of Lysa's knights and lords. Catelyn reminds him why he's there. "You wish to confess?" And Tyrion confesses. He has lain with hundreds of whores. He has wished his father and sister dead. He has not always been kind. He gambles. He's cheated. He said cruel things about noble lords and ladies of the court. And he's about to tell a story when Lysa silences him. Catelyn steps forward and says he's accused of sending a hired knife to slay her son. And Tyrion says he knows nothing of that. Lady Lysa stands and orders Sir Vardis to take Tyrion back and find a smaller cell. Tyrion roars, "Is this how justice is done in the Vale?" A lot of this reminds me of the episode. "Is the Eyrie not part of the Seven Kingdoms? I demand a trial." Lysa says, "Very well. He will tell his story to her son, and then he will decide if he shall fly."
He already wants him to fly, and he wanted him to fly before
That
he even
is
saw
so,
him.
like, what? It's an
Makes no
unfair.
fucking sense, yeah.
Tyrion recalls that little shit and is like, "Nah, son, I demand trial by combat!" And everyone laughs at him. One by one, knights come forward, asking for the honor to fight for Lysa. But she chooses Sir Vardis Egan, her favorite knight. Sir Vardis, however, drops to one knee and begs her to reconsider. There is no honor to slaughter such a man. Tyrion agrees, and he says he chooses his brother Jaime as his champion. Lysa's like, "Nope, the trial is happening on the morrow." Tyrion looks around in desperation, wondering if he had fucked up, when Bran stops forward and says, "I will stand for the dwarf."
Ooh, Bran.
Ooh. That's a doozy.
Bran to the rescue. A couple things I noticed. So, it says small wonder so many times in this chapter. Remember how I pointed that out in the last episode? Or the episode before that?
Tyrion's chapters?
Well, I talked about how George R.R. Martin must have like found the term and like really liked it, because he starts using small wonder so often in every single perspective chapter. So it's like, small wonder this guy drove men mad, and small wonder the Eyrie had never been taken.
Okay.
Like all this in this chapter. It's definitely more prevalent in Tyrion's chapters, I think. Which I think could be because George relates mostly to Tyrion. So if George likes the phrase, then maybe Tyrion would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just funny. Also, jailer is spelled Gaoler instead of what we would recognize it as Jailer.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so that's jailer. You probably read it in was like Gowler. Because it doesn't look like it spells jailer. But yeah, apparently that is a real old school way of saying jail or jailer.
Damn, George.
There's actually a building in Vancouver that used to be a really old jail cell, and it says jail on it, but it's spelled Gaol.
Ooh.
It's pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah. Also, the moon door is not in the ground.
Okay, so I didn't quite understand what the moon door was.
It's just off to the side. It's just like in the wall. They open the wall and then it's just sky.
Oh, shit.
I prefer it in the ground, if I'm being honest.
But I guess it makes more sense as a door. Moon door.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, in the show, the moon door, which is like where the little kid, Robert, wants to make Tyrion fly through, the moon door in the show is in the ground. So it opens up and then you can like shove people out and they'll fall to their deaths. But in the book, the moon door is just a door in the wall that they can open, and it just opens out into the open. Yeah. Just opens to the sky. Chapter 39. Eddard, finally. Eddard. Sip of tea. Ned dreams an old dream of 3 knights in white cloaks, a tower long fallen, and Lyanna in her bed of blood. Well, this seems significant.
Seems familiar as fuck.
Oh. He rides with his 6 friends in this dream. It names them all, but I don't know how important it is to name all of them for our purposes. One standout name is Martin Cassell, Jory's father.
You should have gotten Reed.
Reed?
Yeah, Reed's name.
Okay. Another one's Reed.
Oh, that's the last name. Because you'll meet the kids soon.
Oh!
The Reed kids.
Oh, well, shit. So it's 7 facing 3. In the dream as it had been in life. These 3 seem to be members of Aerys Targaryen's Kingsguard. There's Sir Arthur Dayne, the Sword of the Morning, Sir Oswell Went, and Sir Gerald Hightower, the White Bull and Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. The White Bull is an epic nickname. Like, damn. Ned had looked for these 3 on the Trident, but they weren't there. If they were, according to them, the usurper and their false brother, Sir Jaime, would have been in deep trouble. And Aerys would still sit the Iron Throne. So why weren't they there? It never says.
They're protecting the tower.
Ooh.
And who was in there?
Who was in this tower? Ned explains to them how he came down on Storm's End to lift the siege, and the Lords Tyrell and Redwyn and all the knights bent the knee to pledge their fealty. But Sir Arthur Dayne says the knees of the Kingsguard don't bend so easily. Sir Gerald says that they swore a vow, and he dons his helmet. So it looks like it's about to go down. Ned's wraiths, love that word. Here.
Like he remembers them, but he doesn't remember their faces anymore.
Ooh, so they're like ghostly specters that he kind of thinks of the men who are with him kind of floating up next to him to help him out. So they move up beside him, so it's 7 against 3, and Sir Arthur Dayne draws his sword. They fly at each other, and Ned hears Lyanna screaming his name, and he tells her he promises. I promise, Lyanna. I promise. But what does he promise? He hears his name again, and he wakes up in the Tower of the Hand.
Did you remember that dream?
In the show?
I don't. It was like in season 6, and it was one of the memories that Bran goes back to see.
Oh, I remember that.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, I can totally imagine this now compared to the first time when I read it, and that season wasn't out yet.
Yeah, because we don't see this dream in the show, correct?
No.
Yeah. So, Ned wakes up in the Tower of the Hand. Vaon Poole is there, and he tells Ned he has been asleep for 6 days and 7 nights. He tells Ned that the... Huh?
Bruh.
Yeah, that's a long time. He tells Ned that the king has demanded to see him as soon as he awakened. But first, Ned wants to know what has happened since the incident. He summons the captain of his guard, Aelin, who tells him the Kingslayer has fled the city. Jaime has apparently ridden back to Casterly Rock to join his father, and the story of how Lady Catelyn took the imp is on every lip. Ned asks about his daughters. Aelin tells him they've been with Ned every day. Sansa prays quietly, and Arya just stews in anger. Ned tells him that whatever happens, he wants his daughters kept safe. Aelin then tells Ned that Jory's body has been sent north to Winterfell to lie beside his grandfather. And Ned thinks that it would have to be his grandfather, as Jory's father is buried far to the south, where that tower is. Martin Cassel perished with the rest in that battle against the 3 White Knights of the Kingsguard. They had been 7 against 3, yet only 2 of Ned's men had lived. Himself and the little crannogman, whatever the fuck that means. Huh?
That guy's name is Reed.
Yeah, I know. I'm not talking about his fucking name. They called him a crannogman. Crannogman. I don't know what that is. In the swamp.
You'll find out later. I'm just like spoiling everything.
They call him a crannogman.
Crannog. What does that mean, Raven?
I don't know.
Okay.
So, himself and the little crannogman, Howland Reed. Reed. Okay, we get it. Reed. So, the king arrives with the queen, which surprises Ned. He doesn't think it bodes well that she has come. Ned then dismisses Aelin and Bayon Poole to be left alone with the king and queen. The king offers Ned some wine, while Cersei declares that Ned is lucky to still be alive. Robert snaps at her to shut it, and asks Ned how his leg is doing. Pycelle says that it will heal clean. Damn. The bone was sticking out of his leg, and it's going to heal clean?
I can't imagine medieval times, like, what the hell did you do? What do you do?
What is this medieval sorcery?
Maybe by heal clean, like, it means, like, he'll keep the leg.
I guess. But
maybe he'll only need to walk with a cane for the rest of his life. That's healing clean.
That seems like a weird term to use if there's still lasting damage, you know?
Oh, no.
Heal clean? Like, that sounds like it's gonna heal, like, even without a scar. You know what I mean?
We know it's not.
We know it's not, but it's just, like, it's a weird terminology.
I guess at that time, that was considered clean, compared to, like, having to lose the leg.
Yeah, maybe.
Or be crippled.
Robert then asks about what Catelyn has done, and Ned explains again that it's on his orders. The fact that she took Tyrion. Robert is not pleased, and neither is Cersei. She asks Ned who he thinks he is to lay hands on her blood. Ned tells her he's the Hand of the King. I'm the Hand of the King, beach. Cersei tries to retort that he was the Hand of the King, but Robert silences her again. There are 8 men dead, and Robert will not have it. He tells Ned to command Catelyn to release the imp at once, and to make his peace with Jaime. Ned is like, yeah right, bitch. He killed Jory just to punish me. Cersei points out that Ned was returning drunk from a brothel, and that was the cause of the quarrel. Robert says that Littlefinger too says that they were at a whorehouse. Ned angrily tells Robert about his daughter there, and the whore who is in love with Robert. Robert doesn't like Cersei listening to this, but Ned says she won't like anything he has to say anyway. Ned's just not, he doesn't give a fuck anymore. Ned then says he wants to bring the Kingslayer to justice. But the king refuses, he's had enough. Ned snaps back at him that this is a pathetic notion of justice, which makes Cersei speak up again. She accuses Robert of being meek for letting Ned talk to him like that. She says that a Targaryen would never have allowed such a thing, and that Robert should be the one in skirts, and she in mail. So that pisses him off. He backhands her across the face so hard that she falls, but she doesn't cry out. Her face is already red, and Ned can tell the bruise will cover half her face by tomorrow. Yeah, that's a hard hit. She tells Robert she will wear the bruise as a badge of honor. Robert tells her to wear it in silence, or he will honor her again. I don't like Cersei, but the blatant sexism here is like, fuck. Like, he always just wants her to be quiet and just stand there looking pretty. Like, why did he even bring her?
Probably insisted.
She probably insisted, yeah. But still. Robert shouts for a guard and has Cersei escorted out. Robert then admits to Ned that it wasn't kingly of him to hit Cersei. And he wonders how you fight someone if you can't hit them. Bruh. This guy has issues.
He's such a barbarian.
You're right?
You should leave Westeros and join the Dothraki.
Yeah. Honestly. Robert then says that Rhaegar had won. Robert killed him, but somehow Rhaegar still won. Rhaegar has Lyanna and Robert has Cersei.
And Rhaegar is living rent-free in his head.
I like that. Did you just come up with that?
No, I've heard it before.
Oh, okay.
Like, people who, like, obsess with other people.
Oh, living rent-free.
Like, you don't realize you're living rent-free in your head. Like, you're the one suffering.
Right.
Not them.
Right. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ned wants to talk about something important, but Robert is tired of talk. He is going hunting tomorrow morning and says that whatever Ned has to say can wait until afterwards. Ned reminds Robert that he banished him back to Winterfell, so Robert gives Ned the Hand of the King pin back and forbids Ned to leave. Ned mentions the Targaryen girl again, but Robert tells him, don't start. Ned doesn't understand why Robert wants him as his hand if he won't listen to Ned's counsel. Ned's like, God damn it! Robert responds that someone has to rule this damnable kingdom, and if Ned won't put on the badge, he swears he will pin it on Jaime Lannister. And that's one way to convince Ned to keep the job.
Yeah.
Just so Jaime won't have it. So we all know that Ned does not trust Jaime as
Or the Lannisters.
yeah at all. So that's it. That's Ned's
That's
chapter.
That's this episode.
That is this episode. Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap it up right quick because we have another episode to film before I have to go pick up my mom from the airport.
What time is it now?
8:07.
Johnny, can you start boiling water, please?
Okay, thank you so much for listening. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. The podcast is Tigbab Podcast, Tigbab. You can also follow us individually. Mine is Crimby and Jess's is Jess.Egan24. You can also find us on Facebook if you search Tigbab Podcast again, or just search Tea is Good, Books Are Better. You can find the page there. Please also check out our friend Baram Barami on YouTube. He made our jingle that you heard at the beginning of this episode, and he's super dope and deserves all the love in the world, so let's give him some. We also have a Patreon, so if you want to give us some extra support, you can check us out on there, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We do have some cool tiers with different rewards, so you will get something in return for your contribution, but we do just appreciate you listening as well. Also, please, just a reminder to share our podcast with as many of your friends as possible. We recently got a message on our Facebook page from someone that neither of us knows, which was really, really exciting. This person somehow found our podcast and like gave us a really good review, and it felt so good, and I like got all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, thanks, random fan.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
It's our
First fan mail. We would love for that to continue and to keep growing, so please share the podcast with your friends and your family if you like it and you want to support us.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Jess?
Adios.
She's already halfway out the door. You have to fart? Oh my god, get out.